And let's do it, because I have been doing research, and during the weekends while I don't stream, I have been listening and going down some rabbit holes, and this is very, very interesting because I grew up in the 80s and 90s in a time when computers did not exist in the 80s. They started coming about I remember my brother loved computers. So in 1992, we had a home computer. It was just in my brother's room, and it had the BBS on it. I'll have to, I don't even want to go into what we use that computer for. Oh, I have some crazy memories of some early games that were on computers that I think maybe Epstein wrote these games, I want to say. Like, now that I think about it in hindsight, the game we were playing. See, my parents, they didn't always watch us. Oh my gosh. Because now that I've gone down this rabbit hole and I'm sitting here thinking about the first computers and the first games we played and the goal of the game, sounds like a Bill Gates and Epstein adventure. So, because Bill Gates, Windows 93 did not come about for another year, but maybe, just maybe, Bill Gates had done some work on BBS. I'll have to look that up, because who created that game? I'm going to have to ask ChatGPT, because he'd probably know. And then I'll talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about it towards the end of the video. But I'm also going to be streaming this on TikTok. So give me a second to start my TikTok video, and then for 10 minutes on that, we'll be going over this on TikTok too. But TikTok will probably take this down, and so I need to stream on my YouTube. But the thing is I also need to stream over here, because I guarantee you, like, TikTok won't let me make videos. Like, I couldn't make all my videos on Hayden Panettiere are gone. They're gone. And the one with about Aaron Swartz and John Kiriakou, that one only got 24 views. It did not get pushed out. So TikTok is messing with me. So here we go. Let's go live on TikTok. Let's do our 10-second timer. 10 seconds. So there's no... Okay, let me take off the music. That's always my problem. I never check the music before the music track. So yes. Oh, we got a crazy rabbit hole to go down today. So I was listening to some podcasts. I do still listen to Stephanie Harlow. There's some craziness there with her. I was in the Gypsy Rose community 3 years ago when things went down with Stephanie Harlow. She was not in the Gypsy Rose community, but she's in the true crime community. So, but I still watch her, because I still believe that she does a pretty good deep dive. Now, I do not agree with her videos on Gypsy Rose, which is weird, because I do believe she does her homework. And I think she did the basic homework on Gypsy Rose like everybody else, but she didn't do the deep dive that we all did in that Gypsy Rose community. So anyways, enough about that, because I only got 10 minutes on TikTok, 9 now. So anyways, as I'm listening to all these podcasts, all of a sudden, like, because I was born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s, and I remember computers coming about and the internet and everything. And then but all of a sudden I started thinking about technology has been here since at least the 60s. Because I did a video, and you can go back on that. I'm dressed as Pomni from the Amazing Digital Circus. I talk about the real ending of the Amazing Digital Circus. I don't want to go into that here because I don't have a lot of time. But go back to that video where I'm dressed as Pomni, and I do a 2-part video on that one about the Amazing Digital Circus, and why is it connected to Epstein and MIT? Well, I also recently watched a bunch of videos on Aaron Swartz. Now, that video on TikTok only has 24 views. Please go view that. TikTok did not push it out because I talked about Aaron Swartz and John Kiriakou, and that did not get pushed out. This might become a two-parter maybe because I'm giving such a big intro into it, because I got to give an intro into this. How did I come to this theory? So I haven't been following Epstein too much, but here and there, Epstein's literally in everything. So he crosses every path. I found out, like, I was just watching about the two boys on the train tracks, the ones that it happened in Arkansas in the late 80s, while Bill Clinton was governor, and Bill Clinton covered up the of these two boys to make it look like an accident, because it tied back to Clinton and Epstein and drugs and all kinds of things. And as I'm watching all these podcasts, and you're seeing how Epstein's been there early on, and I mean, Bill Clinton was so corrupt. I don't even know how he ran for president when he was under so much scrutiny in Arkansas. Like, did Arkansas vote for him? Because I would think that they did not. And I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like, okay, so Epstein's everywhere. Literally. So how does he tie into MIT, Aaron Swartz, John Kiriakou, and then fast forward to the Amazing Digital Circus and go back in time, back to the 60s? So we're going to go over this rabbit hole. So, as we know, technology has been around since the 60s. I mean, how else did we go to the moon, right? You can't see me on YouTube in quotations, but the moon. Okay, the trip to the moon, okay? So, because computers were there, but at that time, computers took up the whole room. So, in MIT, back in 1956 it was, that, let's see, it's Marvin Minsky and McCarthy and Seth Lloyd and Josh Shabak and Neri Oxman. Okay, those are the ones. Okay, so Epstein funded all these people because what he was doing in MIT, what he wanted funded, was he wanted to look over human consciousness. So basically, as I was watching these podcasts talk about this, I was sitting here thinking, you have to be faithless, you have to forget God, you have to forget religion to do this, which makes me wonder where the morality of Minsky and all them guys are. Because Minsky and McCarthy are the biggest ones in this, and a little bit Bach. Not the musical Bach, the other Bach. The Joshua Bach. It's an interesting Joshua Bach. That's a probably interesting, like, I bet you, like, Jewish or Russian kind of name or something. So, anyways, a lot of these smart people are from out of our country. So anyways, so you have Epstein funding. So human consciousness, where does it come from? Where does this consciousness, is it a soul? Is it energy? Can it be taken and transferred? Can it be taken and copied? Can when you die, can you hold that consciousness and bring somebody back? Or can you take a copy of that consciousness, put it into AI, and that person and their memories would live on? But would it be them, or would it just be a memory? Like, they can contain your whole memory and it's really not you, but it's you. And then we have to, so we go back and forth in time. So back in the early 70s, 80s, Epstein is funding all this. And forward in time, we have like, so Val Kilmer passes away, and all of a sudden Jim Carrey's not himself anymore, and he looks a little Val Kilmer-ish. Like Val Kilmer before he died had kind of like a chubby face. And remember, Val Kilmer had that throat cancer thing, so he couldn't talk for years with, and so Jim Carrey is really soft spoken and really weird, and then talking about wearing a mask. And so technology has been around for a long time before they give it to the human race, because AI has been around since the 60s. They've been fooling around with the idea of AI. They started out by watching gerbils in an environment and seeing if these gerbils move these blocks. And when they move the blocks, could the computer reset them and adapt to the gerbil's wants and needs? Could AI, and then could it, after it adapted to what the gerbils wanted, could it change the environment and get the gerbils to adapt to its environment? So they were practicing all of this long before AI came to us, on our phones, on our computers, on every device, on our refrigerators, on our, like, yes, refrigerators. Like my son wants that refrigerator with the big screen on it. And that sounds cool and everything, but is that too much technology in the home to get a fridge like that? Because every time we go to Home Depot, they play with that. So I'm sitting here wondering. So back in 1966, there's a sci-fi author, really great author. He was a huge thing in the community of writers. He believed in writers and their freedoms and their ability to write stuff. And he didn't like being labeled and boxed in as a sci-fi writer, because he did science fiction, he did psychology, he did fantasy, he did a whole variety, and he didn't like being boxed into. But that's how we organize books. I guess we're going to go into part 2 on TikTok on this. So, because we're going to get into this, and we're about to hit the connection of how we get to the amazing digital circus. And so you could take a pause for a minute and go watch that 10-minute video, or the 2 back-to-backs, that's 20 minutes, and then come back and watch part 2, because we're going to go into the amazing digital circus. But I probably will box it up for you. See you in a sec. We got a crazy rabbit hole to go down today. So we got a crazy rabbit hole to go down today. Okay, sorry, is it? I do still listen to Stephanie. So there's some craziness there with her. I was in the Gypsy Girls community 3 years ago when. Sorry, you guys are gonna. I should probably mute this for a sec. Okay, sorry about that. Now that's gone. Oh, I have to, like, yeah, when I'm typing on the video, I hate that they do that. Okay, sorry that this also interrupts and pauses. That this pauses the stream. Amazing Digital Circus. This is gonna so get taken down because I'm tagging Epstein MIT. I probably need to make a new video on Aaron Swartz and oh my gosh, and John Kiriakou and their connection. Let's see, true crime, science fiction, maybe. I don't know. There we go. Oh, I forgot to title it part 1. Oh well. I guess I didn't title it part 1. Okay. But I did on the thing. Okay, here we go. We're going to go back again. Okay. We're going to get back into this. Okay. All right. Booyah. All right, let's get back into this. So we're going to get to the. So in 1966, okay, he, let's see, Harlan Ellison. So in 1967, so he publishes a bunch of short stories, not just novels, but he did some short stories, and he did this one called I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. And it's about, so in 66, that's why I'm like, so he does have connections to MIT, by the way. Not exactly to Minsky. Well, there's no proof. The problem is the proof that he had connections to MIT. Let's see. Because at the time, MIT was developing AI in the 60s when Harlan was writing these books. But in 2001, MIT did honor Harlan Ellison, which is interesting. I think he had connections before that. He's a direct, MIT hosted Harlan Ellison, Neil Gaiman, and Peter David at Kresge's Auditorium for an event called New Media and the Future of Written Fiction. MIT's own archive page confirmed. Okay, so they honored him later on, like 50 years down the road. But I wonder if the other two had, Neil Gaiman and Peter David, had connections to MIT other than that. Anyways, so MIT did end up honoring him. I don't think they just honored him out of the blue. I think he somehow either was connected to Minsky and McCarthy or had their research or something, because he actually never had a computer and he was not computer literate. So he writes this story about this AI that takes over humanity and kills them, but he hates humanity so much so that he takes 5 people and traps them in a digital world and tortures them. Which brings us forward to the Amazing Digital Circus. Yes, they did get their ideas from Harlan's book about trapping humanity. But the only difference between the Amazing Digital Circus and I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is, in I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, humanity is gone. But in the Amazing Digital Circus, humanity's not gone. Their disabilities get sucked into the machine. They take that part of the human consciousness. So when Pomni gets sucked in, Abigail Brooks goes on and she does better now that those visors sucked out that part of her consciousness. So my thinking is how often do they put it blatantly in front of our faces, but don't bring us the technology, but it's there? So people are talking about, what's her name? I can't think of her name. Who is also, well, Katy Perry is like, either she's doing that little, I don't know how she must be talented, but I mean, people are talented, because I cannot leave one eye open and let's see, am I doing it? Am I letting one eye be open and twitch? No, it's really hard to keep one eye open and let the other one malfunction. Like the way Katy Perry does it, it's like so slow and purposeful, like, ugh. And so Hollywood, all of a sudden their looks are changing. Like when they put them through this process of taking human consciousness and transferring it, does it do something to the body and the mind and the, like, everything? Like, oh my gosh, like it does something to you. Because what's her name also that plays Wednesday Addams, the one that does that ooh dance, just kidding, gosh, I can never remember some of these stars' names. She, in 3 months time, does not look like who she used to be. Her jaw is kind of like whiter. She's white. Or like she's and oh my gosh, like she's walking around looking crazy. So that brings me to my biggest question. Because there's so much surrounding Epstein's death, his body, like when they took pictures of it, there are coroners on YouTube or on TikTok and everything who have said, oh, you can still see the blood flowing. This is not a person that has passed, because your face is relaxed in a different way when you've passed, because your face has so many muscles in it, like so much muscles. And also when they took his remains, they made it look like they put it in one of the coroner's vehicles and took off with it, and the press followed that vehicle, and then they took his remains, her supposed remains, they put it in another vehicle and took off with them. And also people watched them do this with Michael Jackson. They watched Michael Jackson out of the coroner's van. And then you have, what's her name, Anne Heche, who got up out of the body bag right there in front of the ambulance and tried. And so you have all this crazy stuff happening in Hollywood, people passing on, disappearing, weird things. And lately you have hated Panettiere also. And you're sitting here going, are these people really gone? That started bringing the question to my mind, because nobody's come out with anything new. People are making posts and they're acting like they have stuff new on Hayden, and they don't. There's nothing out there. Her passing is not clear cut. And it makes me wonder if Hollywood and Epstein's still around. They took his consciousness and he's still around and he's still doing this and he's still funding this. And there's a certain reason why he left certain people parts of his estate and parts of his money, because he's like, I'm coming back for it. And so is he really back, or is it AI pretending to be him and has his memories and his behaviors now? And are people like Jim Carrey now, are they meat suit? How do I want to describe this? Like, what are they now? But he definitely does look Val Kilmer-ish, and his speaking has gotten a little bit different. He's so careful with his words, and it's almost like, because Val Kilmer didn't talk for so many years, he can talk now, but it's not Val's voice, it's Jim's voice, and and he doesn't know how. So my husband does Kermit the Frog's impression, and I can tell when he's about to do Kermit the Frog, because he adjusts his throat a little bit. And so when I ask him to do the voice for me, I can tell if he's going to do it or not. And so Val would not know how to do Jim's impressions because he doesn't know how to wiggle Jim's face, and he doesn't know how to. And now I don't know if he can because the face has changed, and he doesn't know how to use Jim's voice and mannerisms. And so this is an interesting rabbit hole that I'm going down about human consciousness and Epstein, and it connects to MIT, of course. And Aaron Swartz was unalived over this because they thought that all the things he downloaded, they thought he was catching on to all of this. And then when Obama was president, people like John Kiriakou and Adam Swartz, Obama did not like whistleblowers. And he was going after any and every whistleblower. So this is where you get into Aaron Swartz and John Kiriakou. Well, Aaron Swartz wasn't a whistleblower, but they thought he was. We'll have to get more into that. My video's only got 24 views. Love you guys. Tell me what you think. Let's get back into this. So we're going to get to this. So in 1966. Okay. Let's see. Whoops. Okay, let me mute this for a second because I don't like my voice. We can come back now. Okay, MIT, Epstein, and amazing. So, where do you guys think this is all going? Because I think the technology's here. I just think they don't want to tell humanity. Because, okay, the people. So, this is, I guess, just for the YT because off of TikTok. So, let's see. Yeah, it's like I tell people, you know how to find me out there. I'm just Talk with Rose. Like nobody else has my name. Well, I don't think anybody else does. I looked at my name before I started using it 3 years ago. So I think someone tried to use it, but it didn't work out for them. But there's nobody out there with my name. So it's unique. It is unique. So what was I going to say? So basically what I was going to say is they what's the weird thing is they don't care. Like, okay, the novel 1984, like I could have added this novel into I'm gonna ask chat something real quick. Let's see. Was 1984 book inspired by any of this? Because was 1984 not by MIT. 1984 was written by George Orwell. Oh, it was written in the okay. MIT's originated AI work with Marvin Minsky and John McCarthy came later. And the famous Dartmouth AI proposal date, what influenced Orwell was much more immediate and political. Stalinism and the Soviet Union, Germany. I'm not going to say that N word, but it's not the N word for the people. It's for the other people with the black symbol. Wartime propaganda, censorship, totalitarian government, and Orwell's own experiences with political manipulation during the Spanish Civil War. He was particularly interested in what happens when institutions gain enough power to control not merely... Okay, a technology coincidence with noticing Orwell was writing at almost exactly the moment, okay, when electronic digital computers were emerging. ENIAC was publicly unveiled in 1946. So see, this goes deep. Okay, this rabbit hole goes deep. Okay, we're talking. This goes all the way back to 1946. I thought it just went back to 1956. No, now we're back in 1946. So in 1948, the year Orwell completed 1984, mathematician Norbert Wiener published Cybernetics, establishing enormously influenced ideas concerning communication, feedback, and control in animals and machines. But Orwell's telescreen isn't evidence that he knew about secret future surveillance. Okay, so, okay, okay. So, okay, okay. Yeah, so one adjustment, people have been imagining machine intelligence and loss of human control for a very long time, while simultaneously watching real authoritarian systems demonstrate how information and technology can be used to control the populations. Yes, I talked about the gerbils. They were experimenting in MIT if a machine can adapt to gerbils and then flip that and see if the gerbils can adapt to which basically is what's going on right now. They've brought out AI, and now they're seeing if they can control our world. And I have to admit, I'm in that part of the world where, okay, so I have now gone pro se, and I am relying on ChatGPT to help me be a lawyer. Because I know a lot about the law and everything in the Constitution, but I don't know how to write legal jargon. So is my world being controlled by AI right now? Did they want me to go pro se? Do they want more people to go pro se? And so Chat GPT, and this is why they let people run rampant on TikTok talking about CPS is corrupt, because that's what led me to Chat GPT and the fact that I could be my own lawyer. So let's see, Cold War conditions absolutely matter. Scientists were developing computers in an ideological vacuum. So yeah, not only were we messing with bombs, we were. So yeah, you do have Alan Turing. I remember watching Benjamin Cumberbatch. Oh my gosh, the United States was so cruel to Alan Turing, because after he helped create that supercomputer that cracked codes and the war was over, they kicked him out of the country for being gay. And they gave him he died I watched this story of Alan Turing with Benjamin Cumberbatch in that movie, and it was a good movie with a tremendously sad ending, because like they did to Alan Turing the same thing they did to Charlie Chaplin. They enjoyed Charlie Chaplin and how much he brought laughter to the United States, and then he made this video of him on a boat. Charlie Chaplin kicked a officer, not just an officer, it was basically an ICE officer, but he kicked one of those kind of officers, immigration officers, and made a hilarious joke out of it. And the US is like, that's not funny. It's not funny to kick our immigration officers. And so they deported him, and for like 40 years kicked him out of our country. And now today we look back on Charlie Chaplin fondly, and nobody knows the ending to his story, that the US turned on him, kicked him out over comedy. Nowadays, you could be a Charlie Chaplin and make a video of kicking. We do have a tiny bit more freedom of speech, yes and no. I think if Charlie Chaplin was alive today, well, one, he wouldn't, because that vaudeville kind of attitude that Charlie Chaplin had, vaudeville's not a thing anymore. And so the vaudeville humor that he had, he was just ahead of his time. So he could have made that on YouTube and TikTok today and could have been funny. But we have turned, well, tell me in the comments, did we also turn on Oppenheimer? I think we turned on Oppenheimer. I didn't watch the movie because Oppenheimer was not a very good guy. Like, I don't want to watch a movie with him cheating on his wife all the time. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Was Harlan inspired by Orwell? Probably in a broad literary sense, but I can't find good evidence that Harlan Ellison specifically said Orwell's 1984 inspired his I have no mouth and I must scream. Because the distinction matters. Okay, I'm going to pause this live and, I might go live on Twitch in a minute. Because I need to go make lunch and stuff. It's getting towards noon. I need to go make lunch. So I probably shouldn't have started podcasting so close to lunch. But anyways, I love you guys. Tell me what you think about the rabbit hole. Maybe give me some comments, and then I'll come back with a second video. And I'm going to go research this more and stuff. Because, oh my gosh, I wonder if they're playing with human consciousness right now. But I believe in God, so I'm sitting here going, this takes away faith. Like, if you have faith in God, then you know where our human consciousness goes after we pass on. And you know we're in end times, or we think we are. I bet they thought we were in times back in the 40s too. Like, it's kind of weird that they do this, because that's why it's hard for me to believe we're in end times, because I bet you out through all of the last 100 years, they've thought, since World War I, everybody's like, we're in end times, we're in end times, we're in times. But, oh my gosh, have we run rampant with technology? And I guarantee, and I bet, and allegedly, there's more going on behind the scenes than we know about. All right, love you guys. I'll probably come back on Twitch after lunch. Let me go get my husband some lunch, and then I'll come back. Okay.